So I kind of I don't know where this. Okay, well I know where this came from, but I kind of wanted to talk about the moral efficacy of free to play models.
Is this because this is because of DX2, huh?
Yes, yes, it is.
Fucking
So,
DX2.
but like, because I was thinking about like DX2. Well, you were telling me about that one stage. Uh,
Oh yeah,
it
I
took
was
you like
playing
17 minutes.
DX2 and I was on a boss fight that took me 17 minutes.
So, generally speaking, like one of the main problems with DX2 is that being a gotcha game that has fights that are heavily specified around needing certain demons. Like sometimes, like there's no way around it. You need demons that resist charm. You need demons that can stop healing. You need demons with X, Y, Z skills, very
Yeah.
specialized for different fights. You have affinities. The DX2 for like everything we dislike about it is an incredibly complicated game with so many different ways the like demons can be special or customized as opposed to different ones.
But all that
Throw in
customization is in service to a game that needs you to have specific shit, which is really that's the other thing too. I don't know if I ever told you this, but I went on to like the DX2 battles leaderboards and shit, which is where people, which is like PvP, except it doesn't involve PvP, and like all of
yeah.
the highest ranking leaders had the exact same demons.
Well,
And I remember Tar
let's
said something like this
okay.
about Pokemon. He's like, "Do you know most people who do Pokemon competitively have like they said like 4 of the 6 Pokemon were exactly the same." And it's like, "Yeah, well this is all 6 in Pokemon terms. This is everything was the same."
And for a gotcha game that isn't entirely new, there's always units that are the best that you're going to want in certain teams. So let me for example, in Magic the best units tend to be your the water units tend to be the best units because uh there aren't many good grass units, and all the fire units are undermined by good water units. So having really strong water units is usually the best. But you can make teams that go against the meta. So if you know that most of the teams are going to be water units, you can make a team with grass units. Or if you know that people are going to have grass units to undermine your water units, put some fire units in your team to back up your water units. There's a lot of ways for you to play around with the meta, and I've simple with Magic Record, which has far less units as um, fucking DX2, where with DX2 it has an incredibly high ceiling because there are so many ways you can customize your demons, but due to its grade system, certain demons will always be better than other demons. It's just a matter of pulling enough of them for them to be the strongest versions of themselves. So
It's
like you need to max up the spirit boards, spiritize a bunch of them to get good skills, and then level up all their skills. You can go into PvP and just have the strongest of the best demons.
it's like it's ridiculous to me. It's like you have like these brands, for example. You equip 5 brands, and then there's like different skills and different things. These brands give you better healing. These brands give you better attack. These brands give you better speed, and you level them all up. And each one has individual stat increments. And then the actually good for something demons have the spirits where you can boost them. And then there's this Mitama BS, and there's like all this boosting and stuff. And then there's skill transfer, so you can give demons two skills that are not unique that you can give them that anyone can have and stuff.
Oh, but
And
don't forget, like each demon has 4 versions of them with different sets of skills.
yeah, each demon has 4 versions of them with different skills and stuff. So it sounds like that sounds great. That's like, oh man, it's endless possibilities. But all of this upgrading and boosting is completely in service to 4 demons, and that's it. Because only 4, like, very few are actually worth anything. You can give your demons the best brands, highest rank 6 brands, boost them all the way to level 50, give them, like, the best Mitamas, and if they have spirits, you can max their spirits, and then you can give them just the highest level skills and boost all their skills, level all their skills up to like max level, and then you get stuck in a fight where your opponent has automatic self-heal buffs and debuffs and 5 turns, and then and pierce affinities. So then your brilliant team that you spent so much time building just gets nuked in 1 turn.
No, but even if you have the best demons in the game, like especially in the story mode, they make they'll make teams that specifically undermine the best demons as well. So then you have to have some other set of 5-star demons with max spiritualization, maxed out brands, and whatever. Like essentially meaning that you need to have every single demon maxed out for every specific thing. So you're talking about like that one fight. You really want a Black Frost on your team to cancel out the healing.
I needed Black Frost because
Yeah,
Black Frost has a skill that slows down healing. And the thing that drives me crazy about that too is that skill does not have a 100% curse ability. So I had turns where I like needed him to curse the opponent and it didn't happen.
Well, that's assuming you also hit the opponent and you don't miss.
Yeah, oh god, the misses. I had to spend so many revives because my Susanoo just missed. Just missed.
Yeah.
No. I don't play a lot of gacha games. I admit that. I was ragging on Duel Links. No. I still rag on Duel Links, honestly. But if Dx2 is normal for gacha games, why do anyone put...
Okay,
Dx2 is not?
DX2 uses a lot of mechanics from a lot of gacha games. Its problem is that it's got way too many units, and it borrows too many features from different games that don't work. So, okay, we talked about how DX2 has a lot of different ways for you to level up your, and strengthen your units.
Yeah.
A very similar game, another game that has a lot of varying ways to do so is Dragalia Lost. Now, the way that Dragalia Lost does it is you have your characters, which have their levels and their mana circles. Then you have weapons, you have weapons and dragons. But those weapons and dragons can be splashed between different units for no cost.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also have, a newer feature they added in this year was you have these items that you can equip onto each unit, each dragon, each weapon, and each weapons are another thing too. They're like cards, but same principle. But you can always take those off and put them back on other than ones. They for a cost, but it's not as big of a deal, and it's not that big of a deal. And then you also have your castle, which you put a bunch of buildings in that give a bunch of different stat boosts. But the stat boosts affect everybody within a certain affinity. So you might have a building that strengthens all water units, or a building that strengthens all sword units. So it's a very deep and complex game. But everything you're doing is in service to your entire party, not one individual unit. There's very few things the only things that affect single units are your levels and your skill tree, and that's it. So unlike DX2, yes, there's a lot of ways for you to strengthen your but at no time are you just strengthening one unit at a time. It's basically the main difference between Dragalia Lost and DX2 is that even though they both have a lot of ways to strengthen yourself and to heighten your gameplay, have a high ceiling, Dragalia Lost lets you share that strength with your whole party and your whole team. There's a lot of custom ability, but you're never locked into, you're just customizing this one unit at a time. Where DX2, it's like, you're just customizing one unit at a time, and it's a high cost for every single unit.
It's a very high cost for, every single unit.
And granted, it wouldn't be so bad for DX2 if it was just a regular game, not a gacha game. But because gacha games work under an assumption of limited resources, you have energy, you have to grind certain stages over and over and over again. You have you have certain items that are only available during events, or every other, maybe not even every event. So you have to be, it's very resource dependent, and you have to be very careful what you're spending your resources on. Whereas if you're playing a regular Shin Megami Tensei game, that's had all these same features, it wouldn't be so bad because you wouldn't have this time element to it. You could just grind and get things as needed.
It would be very, very boring. That's like
Oh, it'd be very boring.
that's the thing
Gotcha games
about
are very no gotcha games are very boring. They're very grind heavy, but they're also supposed to be more mindless experiences, and that's why a lot of them have auto features, so you can just auto grind and then prepare for like the stronger fights.
no argument about DX2 being mindless. That's the thing is that I've been like ragging on this game for its like story and characters for a while, but it's like, oh no, don't get me wrong, its gameplay is hot garbage. In fact, its gameplay I almost thought was worse. I'm not gonna go into the story though because I'll never ever stop if we do that. But it's like, yeah, on the topic of the story, I mean, on top of the gameplay, it feels like this game was made by someone who's never played a gotcha game before. Because it's so unbalanced, it's so unfun, it's so, like, mindless. It feels like nobody knew what they were doing.
I'm gonna take it. It looks like someone who looked at a bunch of gotcha games, picked out a bunch of features, and decided that these would be the best features to monetize. Because don't forget, and this is why DX2 is probably one of the scummiest games out, is that unlike some of these other gotcha games that either don't have a lot of customizable or something like Trybien Lost, like has a high ceiling for customability. Everything serves with everything. With DX2, you have to since you have like on top of getting a lot of resources for individual things, it weighs in front of you the materials you need for cost. Now that's granted, a lot gotcha games do tend to have that's not a new thing. It's not the first gotcha game to have strengthening material on behind a paywall. But because DX2 has so many units that you customize one at a time rather than as a group, you are put in a position where even if you buy $40 of stuff, you may only strengthen a single unit.
I'm still listening. I just don't have a lot. I agree with you. I don't know. I need like a. Yes, I think so too. I have nothing to add.
That's the thing that really gets me about DX2 is it's like so scummy.
It is very scummy. I still you said it was normal to charge like obscene prices, but like one of those things that it asks you to buy is like $47.99, and I'm like, is that normal?
Yeah, well, but you have to remember a lot of gotcha games. You're just buying things for summoning, like the summon units. Like the idea is you'll get free stuff, but if you run out of your free summon stuff, you can spend some money to get some more summon stuff to play the gotcha.
Well, that's another reason why DX2 is so weird to me, and why I keep saying this game wasn't made by anyone who's ever played a phone game in their life before, because I've not spent a single dollar, I've not spent a dime or even a penny on DX2, and I've gotten a considerable amount of money and maca and gems simply because I basically never spend them to begin with. So from my perspective too, as someone who never uses these things anyways, the microtransactions are like I don't have a reason to ever buy them. I'm like, why would I spend $29 on a bunch of these items I already have in bulk that I don't use for anything?
No, but do you want to know partially why?
Why?
Because it's because the units that you would spend the money so the units you would buy, and a lot of gotcha games are very free to can be very free to play friendly if you don't care about getting all the best units. But with something like DX2, I don't feel any very rarely do I feel like, oh, I want to go for a specific unit, because those units will only really be useful in very specific situations. So at no point am I at no point do I feel like it's ever worth actually summoning something.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is that they had this one event where they're like, 2nd year anniversary, 10 free summons every day, and I like just kind of took them just to take them, and then I realized I had like 50 demons with like different brands and different marks and like of
Mhm.
different ranks and stuff. I wasn't doing anything with them because I had a Black
Yeah,
Frost and some other guys, and I'm like, I just sold them for karma, which I didn't use for anything.
yeah. Well, and that's the thing though. It's the and the that's well, I guess the other thing. The pool of demons is so fucking large that why would you spend any summoning material if chances are you're not going to summon what you want anyways?
It's like the thing too is
Like,
that like DX2 is so self-defeating, even mechanically speaking, where it's like some of those like the fusion place, that's just a waste of time because
yeah,
let's say that you do pull like because if you can summon a bunch of high rank demons anyways, then why would you ever need to fuse? And the only way you can fuse demons is if you get demons from story missions, but story mission demons are always rank 2s that have been bumped to like level 70, which is ridiculous. And then they join your party, and suddenly their max level cap is 30, and you're like getting a headache. And then you have like the shield systems where you mentioned before you have 4 different variants of every demon. That's not actually true. You have
yeah,
5
but that's
variants of
actually
every demon because you have
no,
regular demon and then 4 different flavors, but the 4 different flavors don't mix with each other. So and when you go to the summoning portal, you get one of the 4 different flavors. So then you try to fuse, but they can't be fused together. So you get a stockpile of useless demons, and you're like, why would I? And you're like, why would I want to bother doing any of this? What's the
but that's
point?
the that's the other thing too. It's like why would you even bother like trying to summon for a specific demon when there's a 1 in 4 chance that even if you pull that demon, it's going to be a bad version of it, and then you have
Exactly.
to waste a very rare item to be able to even change its type.
Or you have to just keep pulling, or you're gonna do what a sensible person would do is and just stop. I
No, but
really
what? No, but that's the thing. Okay, okay, okay. So this is all coming from someone who plays a lot of gotcha games.
uh-huh.
DX2's 5-star pool is absolutely ridiculous. So it's you already have a very low chance of getting a 5-star demon. So it's like zero. Like it's probably just like between 0 and 3% chance of getting a 5-star demon.
Uh-huh.
Then when you have 25 stars, then like 20 plus 5 stars, then you have like 1 in 20 chance of getting that demon. Now, certain times you'll have specific banners where you have a rate up of a certain demon. You'll be more likely to get this 5-star. But because there's so many demons, that rate up of that 5-star hardly matters. Like, and this is actually I'll say comparing something like the Dragalia Lost. Dragalia Lost has a lot of 5-stars, but the game's been on one hand, it's been slowly adding them in over and over again. Plus, the rate up is actually rather effective. Like, I think the rate up's actually higher than it's even listed because chances are if you get a 5-star, like getting a 5-star on Dragalia Lost is there. Also, Dragalia Lost hands out some of the materials like it's nothing. It's not hard to grind up like it's not hard to grind up 100 plus summons within a month or two of playing.
Mm-hmm.
Where in something like DX2, you'll be lucky to get 50 summons over like a month or two, like outside of just its free stuff. And that's if you're not even using the reviving stuff to complete like the revive gems for
The revive
the
gems to
boppers.
be able to even play the game because you get stuck in a boss fight where against 5 enemies when you can only summon 4, by the way, and then I guess you can have an assist guy, but if you're oh god, that's the other thing too. Like if like all of my demons have no weaknesses because I've had to like meticulously give all of them resist skills to get rid of their weaknesses because if any of these guys are already piercing resistances. If you have even one weakness to be exploited, you're dead. You're just gonna die. So if if you pull a demon and it's weak to something, you cannot use it until you've given it a resist skill. It's worthless until then. And then like
Oh, but
God, and then God, like I was gonna say too about your summons is that like adding to that, there's this event system where sometimes an event will happen and you can do event summons, and like sometimes the event summon will be like it will guarantee that you get 1, 4, or 5-star, or it will guarantee that you get 4 or 5 stars. Here's the thing again too. Any of those 4 stars are useless. any of those 5
Yeah.
stars, you need to get specific 5 stars with specific marks, or else they're useless.
Yeah.
It's so.
Oh, and then eventually, then if you summon, then it also like because those are the step up summons for the events. And then if you summon like 6, I think it was like 6 times, then you're guaranteed the event demon, which you don't even know if you're going to get a good version of it in the first place.
Yeah.
And that's only one version of that demon. It's not even like, oh, you have enough demons to max out the spirit boards.
Yeah.
Which, if you want to have the strongest version of the demon, you have to max out the spirit boards.
And if you get
then,
an event demon, then how do you max out that at spirit board?
You don't like if the limits like that's one of the reasons why like if you're not, that's how they get you with the money. If you're like, oh yes, I really want to have this demon in spirit size, that's when you start spending your money so you can go up that like step up system a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Like.
And
granted, that's just another version of a pity system. Like many modern gacha games have a pity system where you're guaranteed like a 5-star or the event stuff.
Freaking Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links guarantees that you'll eventually get the ultra rare or the super rare card if you keep buying card packs.
No,
and I like that system better than I like it in any regular Yu-Gi-Oh! Game.
But the reason why Duel Links system is really good is because it's a limited pool until you reset it. So, like, I know, where, and so, like, for example, in Magic Record's pity system kind of sucks because every 100 pools you're guaranteed a 5-star, but you're not even guaranteed the 5-star you want. So those sorts of pity systems do suck. It's great that you eventually get a 5-star, and you might even get a really good good magical girl out of it, but you're not even guaranteed someone that you want. Where at least in Duel Links, you're eventually guaranteed the card that you want.
Yeah, I like Duel Links a lot in retrospect. It's funny because I've been ragging on that game for years, and now I'm like,
Duel Links is great. It's just I don't have fun playing Yu-Gi-Oh.
It's great in comparison to many other things.
Oh yeah, no. Duel Links deserves all the love it gets. Like,
yeah,
Duel Links is legit. Like, Duel Links events. I'll say the Duel Links events suck, and it kind of needs more of a story mode. Like, it doesn't like Duel Links is a fun I find it a fun occasional play, but it doesn't do enough to keep me interested in continuous play.
I don't take back everything I said about Duel Links. I had some criticisms I said about it that I maintained those, but I'm like, wow, like looking on it now. I was gonna say that too, like whenever we brought up Dx2, it was always about the story and how bad the story was and how bad the characters are. But it's like, don't get us wrong. Probably the worst thing about Dx2 isn't even the story and it's the gameplay. It really is. It's painfully bad.
Well, the story wouldn't be so obnoxious if it wasn't such a drag to get through, and if you were like, we could probably just laugh at the story or be like, oh wow, the story. But because we're suffering through the actual gameplay and suffering through the grind to even see the story that's not even worth it, it makes it hurt even more.
It's pretty hard to laugh at the story too. But yeah, if anyone listens to this video and goes out to download Dx2, spoiler alert, at the very beginning of the game, you're told that you're the chosen one. By chapter 5, you don't exist plot-wise anymore. You're not mentioned, you're not talked to. There's a part where they say, from this point, like, I took a picture of this, it says, like, from this point forward, the story will change depending upon your choices. The choices that you're not given, you have nothing to say and no presence in this universe at all. You are more dead than any of the victims of horrible homicide at the hands of your villainous evil team, of whom are completely morally justified by the main characters who are like, oh man, maybe they have a point, maybe they're right. And it's like, what are any of you talking about?
Anyways, I've got to go. This was a fun chat. Talk to you later.
It was fun for you. I'm losing my mind.